Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion, where today I just want to talk about certain aspects of the game a little bit. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, let's start in the core, go down to mod sets. There are very good mod sets in the core. Standard, obviously, because you need it in everything, unless you replace it with one of the newer standards. Expert, I've grown to appreciate more than I did in the past. Bomb Scare is too easy. Masters of Evil is actually a good set. You get 4 beefy minions that all have some effects you don't like, and when revealed, Masters of Evil will go get, basically, one of the Masters of Evil. I do like that, and there are other Masters of Evil minions in the game. So you could add this and some other Masters of Evil, make it a little more interesting. My favorite, though, is not Legions of Hydra. I know a lot of people like that one because it makes the game a lot more difficult, and it does. It's not Doomsday Chair for the same reason. It does make the game more difficult. I actually really like Under Attack. This is the one that Ultron uses. You get a side scheme with Crisis, and you have a choice when you reveal it. Add 2 threat here or deal 3 damage to your hero. I really like that. I like the choice here. Also, Concussive Blast has defeated some very important allies for me in the past. When this is revealed or comes out as a boost, you deal a damage to each character you control. That's kind of brutal, and I really like these attachments. Attach to the villain. After the villain takes damage, give it tough. The thing I like, and both of these have it, they have a hero action. Where did the other one go? They have a hero action. Exhaust your hero, spend some resources to discard this. I like that you have to exhaust your hero to get rid of these. It's actually kind of a pain in play, but I still like it. So that is my favorite mod set from the core, Under Attack. The Green Goblin Scenario Pack has some more fun mod sets. I am quite partial. Let's get down here. I like A Mess of Things. That's a fun set, especially with Scorpion. Big, quick-striking minion who stuns a character after they damage them. That's really cool. But my favorite in this pack is Running Interference. You get this Crisis icon. It only has one per player, but each player must choose to spend mental physical or place 2 threat here. So this could be a lot more. In a solo game, I'm probably just letting the extra threat go on here. Tombstone is really cool, 3 attack. After he attacks and damages you, spend mental or physical from your hand if able. So Resource Generators doesn't even get around that. And he's beefy. He's got 9 hit points. All Tied Up is a fun attachment. Attach to your identity. Attached character cannot ready or change form. Spend mental physical to get rid of it. And then media coverage is cool too. When revealed, or resolve each when revealed ability 1 additional time. That's really cool. So some fun sets in Green Goblin, but I really like Running Interference. From Rise of Red Skull, there's actually a set or a card that I complain about all the time, but I still like the mod set it comes in, and I do like the card. It's just a pain in the butt card. The card is Hydra Soldier. Guard. When defeated, deal the engaged player an encounter card. That sucks because he might have come out as an encounter card. So he comes out, you have to beat him before you can deal any damage to the villain, and then you get another card for your troubles. I hate this in play, but I love the idea of it, and I love this mod set. It comes with 3 Hydra Soldiers, 2 regulars, and Hydra Patrol. It comes out with Crisis, and when defeated, you search for a Hydra minion. Of course, most people are going to go find that Hydra regular. Really fun set. That is my favorite in Rise of Red Skull. There's actually two that I really like from the Once and Future Kang. One of them is really easy to cheese, and that's Temporal. Temporal is easy to cheese because Time Portal only has 2 threat per player. It does have this hazard icon, but you're getting rid of it before you have to worry about that hazard. The reason it's easy to cheese is because Forced Interrupt, when this scheme is defeated, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of discarding it. That means you can play one way or another every turn, pull this, draw 3 cards, and then you should have an easy way to defeat it. In fact, if you don't have an easy way to defeat it, I say don't play one way or another to get it. The only time it gets hairy is if this is discarded as a boost card, because then it's stuck in the discard pile. You can't get it back in the deck. So I really love the Temporal mod set. I also like Masters of Time, or Master of Time, primarily because it gives you Kang as a minion. Toughness, Villainous, both really fun. He gets +1 scheme and +1 attack for each obligation in your play area, and guess what? We have some obligations in his set. Fear of Kang. He cannot take damage. Fun. Alter Ego, discard a random card from your hand to discard this. I hate that effect, discarding a random card, but I love this set. We get 2 of those. I think these are treacheries. Yeah. So we do get a couple extra obligations, and we get this side scheme hazard, 3 per person threat. When defeated, discard cards from the top of your deck until a minion is discarded. Put it in play. Engage with the player who defeated this scheme. Really fun set. I did have a custom scenario where I used, or a custom campaign where I used Kang as kind of a recurring bad guy. That was really fun. But yeah, Temporal is fun. Master of Time is a lot of fun. I really love those 2 sets from the Once and Future Kang. The Mad Titan Shadow. It has to be a certain set, right? Well, maybe. I do like the one that I think is probably everyone's favorite, which is... Oh, this wasn't the one. There's one expansion where the mod sets are within the villains, like the villains they come in. So this is a fun set because you get this side scheme and you get Super Giant and Black Dwarf. This one's fun. We get the Outriders, although they make you discard cards at random. Children of Thanos is one of my favorite sets because you get Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive, and Proxima Midnight all in one mod set, and you can do some fun stuff with that. I had a different custom campaign that used these quite a bit, and then depending on who you defeated as a villain, that wouldn't show up, or other things you did in the campaign, those villains or these minions wouldn't be included in the deck. So that was really fun. I think the one everyone loves in this set, and I do as well, is Infinity Gauntlet. This one doesn't even muck up the encounter deck because this comes into play and these form their own set. It just makes the villain more powerful by giving them +1/+1. And after they activate, whether it's an attack or a scheme, you resolve the special on the stone in play. Otherwise, you put the top one into play. So that's fun too. You're confused. If you were already confused, discard a card at random from your hand. Again, hate that effect. Mind Stone. You are stunned. If you are already stunned, take 3 damage. Reality. Discard an ally, upgrade, or support. This one can be devastating depending on when it comes out and what you have in play. Soulstone, heal 3 damage from the villain and give it a face down boost. Space Stone, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. And Time Stone, discard the top 4 of your deck, place 1 threat on the main for each different card type discarded this way. Infinity Gauntlets is a really fun set. And I think one of the greatest things about it is it was made as a modular encounter set rather than just being part of Thanos. Now, I don't think Loki should get it. I actually hate that Loki gets the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't like playing Loki, and this is part of it. I just don't think he should have that. But by making it a mod set, you can add this to any villain you want. If you want Rhino to have the Infinity Gauntlet, well, have fun with that. If you want Magneto to have it, have fun with that. So, very cool design, and I am very glad that this is a mod set and just not locked to Thor. That's my favorite in Mad Titan Shadow. Next we get the Hood. The Hood is basically a scenario pack full of mod sets. And there are a lot of fun mod sets. Beastie Boys is fun. Brothers Grimm is difficult but really cool. I like this mod set. In this one, every time Brothers Grimm activate, you discard until you get an attachment and reveal it. And none of these attachments are fun things to be putting on the villain or a minion. That's a really cool set. Mr. Hyde is cool. I like that one. My favorite from this one, actually, I kind of have two. I have a favorite, but I really like another one as well. My favorite is State of Emergency. It's got these four side schemes, each with an acceleration. And when revealed, they all do a thing. So one thing I like, this one particularly says the villains somehow identified an unmarked band. That's the only one that explicitly states anything about the villains, but these others don't say anything about the villain. And what I like about it is because it's a modular encounter set that can go into any villain, you can infer that the villain is responsible for these things. The villain has caused this ship to run ashore. The villain has blown up this oil rig. The villain is running from the police here, whatever. I really like this set. The other one I really like, though, is the very next one, Streets of Mayhem. You get these environments. This particular one gives every character in play +1 attack. This one, every hero and ally +1 thwart. But each enemy also gains an acceleration icon. Each character in play gains retaliate. Each character in play gains steady. So one of the scenario packs that is pretty low on everyone's list is Breakout. That is the Wrecking Crew scenario pack. And one of the reasons I think it's so low is because there is no modularity in that scenario. You shuffle up the 4 villain decks and you go. There is no modular encounter set included or called for. Not even standard. So it can get pretty samey over time because there is no difference between one play and the next. What I like to do, and I know a lot of people will house rule this scenario. Here's how I house rule it. So there are 4 villains with 4 encounter sets. I shuffle these together and without looking, shuffle 1 into each of the encounter sets. So I don't know which villain has which of these environments. Next, I take the standard set, which has 7 cards, and my obligation, and shuffle them together, and then shuffle 2 of those into each of those packs, or each of those encounter decks. So now each encounter deck has 3 extra cards in it, which isn't, terrible. That's not a big deal. But you don't know what cards have been added. When you play a normal villain, you shuffle the standard set in, and okay, well, there's 2 advance in there, there's 2 assault, there's 2 gang up. Shadow of the Past. When you shuffle them this way into different decks, you don't know which villain is going to get Shadow of the Past. You don't know which ones have advance. And you don't know which of these are going to be in which encounter deck. So that's how I, quote-unquote, fix the Wrecking Crew. It makes it a little more tense because you don't know which of the standard cards are in the encounter decks, but it still is just kind of a boring encounter deck or scenario. I do have to play that one, though, on the channel because by the end of 2025, I want to have every villain on the channel, and that's one of them I haven't played on the channel yet. All right, that was the hood. Let's move on to Sinister Motives. Sinister Motives has some more good modular encounter sets. That was my phone I just dropped. And, okay, was this the one? No, it's not. Okay, so mod sets are at the bottom. Okay, here are our mod sets. Let's get to the top of them. City and Chaos, Down to Earth. I actually really like Down to Earth, but that's not my favorite. Goblin Gear. Guerrilla Tactics is a good set. Osborne Tech. Personal Nightmare is fun. Sinister Assault. Symbiotic Strength. This one's actually a good one, too. I forgot about this one, even though I just played Venom, and it uses this set. Whispers of Paranoia. My favorite is actually the very first one we saw, and that is City and Chaos. And that's primarily because it gives us the Rhino as a minion. And I think that's just a fun minion. 3 attack, he gains overkill and piercing, he's steady, and you don't want to play this set while playing Rhino because when revealed, Rhino schemes with +2 scheme. If Rhino is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for him, and he engages you. Well, if you're playing with Rhino, Rhino will always be in play, and he's going to scheme at +2. And in the Rhino scenario, where there's only 7 threat on the main threshold, that could be devastating in a game ender. Also, if this Rhino comes out, it's going to surge into another card because it can't come into play with Rhino villain in. So I really like this set. Even this Panic in the Streets is good. 5 threat, treat the printed text box of each location support and persona support as if it were blank. That's really cool because you really rely on those. So in Sinister Motives, I really like Down to Earth, but City and Chaos is my favorite. Next, and I think, I actually meant to leave another one in here. The Wave 5 heroes were the first heroes that had back-of-the-pack scenario packs, or back-of-the-pack modular sets, rather. And I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to tell you my favorite from among them. My favorite comes from Spider-Ham. The back-of-the-pack in Spider-Ham has the Inheritors. This is a fun mod set, especially when you're playing Web Warriors. And I put a poll up on my channel recently asking, if everybody had everything. I was planning on doing a new custom campaign, which is basically done. I've got it written. I want to test it this coming weekend to make sure it does the things I want it to do before I release it to subscribers who want to playtest. But it uses the Inheritors mod set. And this is really cool. You get 8 minions that are pretty beefy. They all do a different thing when revealed. And they all have a global buff for Inheritors. So this one, each Inheritor minion gains an acceleration icon. That stinks. When revealed, if a Web Warrior is in play, place 1 threat on the main. Bricks, each Inheritor gains Patrol. When revealed, place 2 on the main. Each Inheritor gains Stalwart. Stun a character you control. They all gain Guard. And give him a Tough. They all gain Overkill and Piercing. Discard an upgrade or support you control. So they're all fun. They all have a global buff for Inheritors. And they all have a when revealed effect against Web Warriors. So I really like this set. This is a very cool set. And if you're a subscriber, I will be putting up a notice fairly soon for playtesters to playtest my custom campaign. It is not a campaign where I have created a bunch of new villains. It is a Sinister Motives campaign with new campaign rules and a custom environment I've created, which makes this permanent. And you would add a random selection of inheritors into the deck at the beginning of each scenario. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go back here because next is Mutant Genesis. Mutant Genesis, start of the X Wave, very fun. And this might be the one. No, this isn't the one either. Oh, well, these are heroes. Let's see. Sabretooth. Okay, this isn't the one either. Again, one of these boxes has the mod sets intermingled with the villains. All right. Mystique, I hate this mod set. Don't want it. I would burn it if I didn't need it in some of the encounters in this box. Of course, I can switch them out, but I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, hate this set. Brotherhood is okay. It's just the Brotherhood of Mutants and some interesting stuff going on with them. Operation Zero Tolerance is better in Project Wide Awake because in Project Wide Awake, this gains permanent, and that really affects that game. Outside of Operation Zero Tolerance, it's not as good because you can just throw this off and be done with it. Sentinels, if for whatever reason you just wanted to add some extra Sentinels into a game which you're playing with X-Men, you could put these in and even these because there are some more Sentinels there. Acolytes, my favorite, which kind of only takes place during the campaign, even though these aren't campaign cards, is Future Past. Nimrod Bastion, Nimrod's Portal, Bastion's Machinations. Nano Sentinel Tech sucks because it can go find your nemesis. I say it's mainly just for campaign because you shuffle one into your deck, and then if you don't defeat it at the end of a scenario, it's going to be shuffled in again to the next villain, plus one that you've shuffled in for that scenario. So if you didn't defeat Nimrod, or whichever one you had in scenario 1, you shuffle Nimrod and one of these into your deck. And that's kind of what I'm doing with my custom campaign with the inheritors. If you defeat them, they're gone from the campaign. If you don't defeat them, they can be shuffled into the next, or they will be shuffled into the next villain. So that is my favorite from Mutant Genesis, the Future Past set. And I have played this even when I'm not playing X characters, when I'm not playing mutants, and it's a lot of fun. Just shuffle them all in there. Next we get Mojo Mania. This is a fantastic scenario pack. 3 scenarios with a mini campaign. So good. Oh, that's back of the box. That's not what I wanted. And can I not exit that? Well, I think I just wrecked this video. Okay. Magog is fun, Spiral is fun, Mojo is fun, all good scenarios. We get some modular encounter sets. There are 6 in this pack. Crime, fantasy, horror, sci-fi, sitcom, western, and we get Longshot. My favorite in this pack is, I really like horror because it's got a neat thing going on. You can get a Bandolier of Stakes, which helps you defeat the vampire. This cultist can go search out the Kraken, which is cool. Werewolf pack will basically eat an ally and make the werewolf pack stronger. Maybe they're not eating the ally, they're turning the ally into a werewolf. That's a really cool card. So I do like this set, and this is my favorite in this pack. I do like the horror set, but fantasy is also really good. The environment, each player gets +1 hand size. That's awesome. Dragon, 10 hit points, retaliate 1 toughness, but if you use a source that uses an energy resource, it doubles the damage. And when defeated, you draw 4 cards. That's really fun. Goblin, remove 2 threat from a scheme when you defeat him. Troll, when you defeat him. You may put an ally from your discard pile into play. That's really cool. Fetch Quest is the most fun. It is a 6 threat per player side scheme, but when defeated, you search your deck for a card and play it for free. That's even better than putting into play because some of the cards might say when you play this card from hand, do a thing. Well, this isn't playing it from hand, though, so maybe that doesn't matter. But I still love Fetch Quest, Dragon, Troll. This is a fun set, but my favorite in Mojo Mania is Horror. In Wave 6, not all of the heroes had a back-of-the-pack encounter set. Cyclops and Phoenix did not, but the rest of them did. My favorite here comes from Gambit, and that is the Exodus set. Retaliate 1 villainous when revealed. Search the encounter deck discard pile for Psionic Shield and attach it to Exodus. Psionic Shield sucks because when attached minion would leave play, instead heal all damage from that minion, put it back into play, discard this. So it is like MODOK, but I don't know why. I really like this set where I don't like the MODOK mod set. This one, when defeated, search for Exodus and reveal him. So this comes out, you go find Exodus, which says when revealed, go find a shield. Really cool set, really fun set. And at least from this wave, this is my favorite back of the pack set. Next Evolution had some good mod sets. I think the most fun, and this I think I'm remembering now, is the set that has the mod sets right with the villains. Yeah, it is, because this has the military grade, etc. So my favorite, and I think a lot of people's favorites, comes in the Mr. Sinister scenario. And that is, or they are, the attachments. Flight, Super Strength, and Telepathy. These really change the way any villain can work, and their setup and permanent. So if you use this mod set, Flight will come in, and then you shuffle these next ones into the encounter deck. Super Strength comes in, and then you shuffle that into the encounter set. This into the encounter deck. You know, that's a lot of fun. So for Next Evolution, there are a lot of good mod sets, but my favorite are definitely Flight, Super Strength, and Telepathy, just because they give you a really fun and easy way to really change how a villain operates. Telepathy especially, I talked about this in my Red Skull Challenge video. Giving Red Skull Telepathy gives him Psionic and Retaliate 1, and then you get these other cards that he could use. I really like Telepathy among these, but all of them are very good sets, all 3 of them. Wave 7 did not have back-of-the-pack cards. So we're going to go right to Age of Apocalypse. This is a cool box. I like the villains. I don't like the campaign in this box. But I do like the villains. I like the heroes, so it's a good box. I just don't like playing the campaign. We are going to go all the way down. This one didn't have a link to get to the mod sets. Or if it did, I missed it. Infinites is a fun mod set, especially because this gene pool is permanent and set up. So you put this into play, and you really have to pay attention to it, because if the threat on here is too high, these minions get worse. If there's 3 on it, these minions gain Quick Strike. 6, they also gain Surge. So now they are hitting you for 2 as soon as they come in. They surge into a new card. And if they have 9 threat on Gene Pool, they also have a total of 6 hit points. This is a fun set. My favorite, though, is Dystopian Nightmare. Gives you a couple obligations with Hazard. So if you get this, you pretty much want to flip down so that you don't have to deal with extra encounter cards. War Wary, you are stunned. If you are already stunned, take 2 damage, and that's the same on the boosts, the star boost. Some cards I really like when the boost basically makes the card be revealed. Targeted for elimination, 3 threat. When defeated, the player who defeated this is confused. This has a crisis, so you do want to get rid of that because you're going to need to keep threat off the main. I really like Dystopian Nightmare. Hounds is fun too. Dark Riders is cool. And the 3 that come in Dark Beast, Blue Moon, Genosha, Savage Land, those are all cool too. My favorite in this box is Dystopian Nightmare. Wave 8 does, well, I didn't mean to keep that up. Wave 8 does get back of the pack mod sets, and my favorite comes from Jubilee. That's the arcade set. This is just fun. 2/2/3. He's not difficult to get rid of, but he can't take damage if you have a trap side scheme in play, and he comes with 3 of those. This is just, not super powerful. This is just a fun set to add, and here's Elaborate Trap. When revealed, resolve the when defeated ability on each trap side scheme. If none were defeated this way, discard until you get a trap side scheme. So this is just, again, a fun set. I like this one because it's fun. All right, that only leads us to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the heroes that are coming out after them. Now, not all of the cards for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are in Hall of Heroes yet, so for this one, we're going to go down to the table. All right, if you don't want any Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spoilers, go ahead and click away. I'm going to talk about 2 sets in this portion of the video. After this box, we have the next wave, Black Panther Shuri, Silk, Falcon, probably Winter Soldier. I think we all know that. And we know what their back of the pack mod sets are. Those are the Thunderbolts. So I'm not going to cover any of those because I haven't used any of them yet to know if they're a favorite. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Man, I've got a lot of stuff on this mat. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually has 2 sets I really like. The first is Aim Abduction. It has this minion, 1, 2, 4. When revealed, tuck the ally you control with the most remaining hit points under Abduct Superhumans. Otherwise, place 2 threat on Abduct Superhumans. If Abduct Superhumans is not in play, find it and put it into play. It is not revealed, so it won't surge. Now, there are 2 of those AIM abductors. Next, this has a Forced Interrupt. When an ally leaves play, tuck it under here and place threat here equal to its cost, and then put an acceleration token. It only comes in with 2 naturally, if it comes out of your deck or if AIM Abductor comes into play. But it gets a little more sinister. Nabbed is a great treachery. When revealed, if this is not in play, find it and put it into play. Discard cards from the top of your deck until an ally is discarded and tuck it under here. Place threat equal to the ally's cost here and an acceleration. And there are 2 copies of Nabbed. So this is a really fun set. If this comes in with AIM Abductor or is just an encounter card, it's not that bad. It has to defeat this before you let an ally leave play, and there are no problems. It gets really interesting with Nabbed, though, which puts it into play and then forces you to discard until you get an ally and put under there. That's really fun. That is my first favorite set in this box. And the next is Scientist Supreme. This comes with 2 allies, Scientist Supreme and Monica Rappaccini. They both have Victory 1. They're both vulnerable. Supreme Scientist has Villainous. Now, what I like about this set is these have bad consequences for you if they go to the victory display. So he's got 6 hit points. She has 5. They don't hit very hard, except that they have Villainous, or he has Villainous. She only gains Villainous if he's in the victory display. So you kind of want to get rid of them, but also you don't have a huge need to get rid of them. You don't want to go down to Alter Ego with her in play because she schemes for 3. He schemes for 2 and is Villainous. So you do want to get rid of them. But after getting rid of them, put that there. Diplomatic Immunity, when revealed, place an acceleration token here for each aim minion in the victory display. Well, that can only be those 2. So if you've defeated them, this gets more troublesome. Then we get the Diplomatic Sanctions. Surge, when revealed, discard a card from your hand for each aim minion in the victory display. So if one or both of them there, you're discarding cards. You do get to choose. It's not random. That's nice. But you're discarding cards because you have defeated those minions. Also, their boost effect is 2, plus it gains boost for each aim minion. So if both of them were in the victory display, this is a boost of 4, and that's scary. So that's a really fun set. It gives you a choice that oftentimes ends up not being a choice, right? You don't want to keep these in play, but defeating them causes problems later. And I love that kind of design. I really like also side schemes which have an icon. Acceleration isn't terrible, Amplify isn't terrible, but Crisis and Hazard can be pretty bad. I love ones that have an icon and a bad when defeated effect. This is not a case of that, or not an example of that, but I love that kind of design too. Because now, okay, do I want to keep taking that extra encounter card for 2 or 3 more turns, or do I want to get rid of this and deal with the when defeated effect? So that's it. That is every expansion in the game which has encounter cards or has modular encounter sets, except for those in the waves that I didn't touch on. I only talked about my favorite ones in those waves. Let me know what your favorite mod sets are. Let me know what I missed or if I misspoke about something. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.